Who remembers Peter? You know, the rock, uh, one of the disciples. Yeah, that Peter. Deny me 3 times, Peter, right? Peter obviously was shown in the book of Acts too, but did you know that Peter wrote books? Yeah, not just one. In fact, today we're doing First Peter. And guess what we'll be doing tomorrow? His sequel. And so Peter goes on to lead a large portion of the church. And we talked about with Galatians, him and Paul had run-ins, but most of the time they're on the same team. And this letter would have been received. It's almost as if like the head bishop, like if Bishop Eaton wrote to us Living Waters, right? Peter is the head of that church that he's writing to churches in Asia Minor, specifically churches that, wait for it, have been persecuted. Catching a theme yet in the New Testament? Yes, that essentially this book is boiled down. This is not a long book, but it's boiled down to the need for the church to be steadfast, stick to its faith, even in the face of persecution. Peter would have learned this. It's funny, because it's really funny. This is how God works so often, right? That the guy who denied Jesus Christ when the going got tough is now writing about being steadfast in persecution. And that's God's transformative power, friends. It's the same guy who ultimately is going to get martyred for his faith in a pretty brutal way. Being crucified upside down. He ultimately practices what he preaches. But even though he made the mistake, John has the great resurrection narrative about Peter, do you love me? Right? Breakfast on the beach. Yeah, this idea that Peter made that mistake, but the rest of his life he has learned from it, and he's living it. No more will he deny Jesus Christ as Lord. No more will he cower in the going, get stuff. Well, except for maybe that one, according to Paul, that one run-in. And that's, I'll be honest, First Peter's not the first book I'm going to grab off the shelf in the Bible library, but I like it because it shows us that we can grow in our faith. We can learn from our mistakes with God and the power of grace, right? There's new life. Just because we made a mistake doesn't mean that our life is over at that moment. No, there's plenty of life to be lived. Impacts to be had. Here Peter's helping people with the same mistakes that he made. Who better to talk about it, right? Yeah, it's probably one of the probably middle of the pack epistles. So it's not going to be too late on with some of the theology, but laid on enough that there's a more understanding of this idea of church. I think the other theme that Peter does tackle is this idea of a chosen people, holy nation, of continuing those promises from God that Jesus has opened up to us all. That's the other theme of 1 Peter. So yeah, if you're looking for a book that you get to see another, here maybe if you've always been interested in Peter the disciple, we get to hear his side of the story. You get to see that he wasn't a lost cause after all. That God saw something in Peter that Lord knows no one else did. So, if you like 1 Peter, just wait till tomorrow with 2 Peter.